Can yoga be purely physical? That non-Christians are engaging in yoga is not surprising. After all, it is being promoted in the West as purely physical stretching and breathing exercises beneficial for one's health, even as a cure for cancer, with testimonials that supposedly back up that claim. That Christians, however, who say they follow Christ and His Word, would also jump on the bandwagon of Eastern mysticism is staggering. Yoga was developed to escape this, quote, unreal, end quote, world of time and sense, and to reach moksha, the Hindu heaven, or to return to the void of the Buddhist. With its breathing exercises and limbering up positions, yoga is promoted in the West for enhancing health and better living. But in the Far East, where it originated, it is understood to be a way of dying. Yogis claim to possess the ability to survive on almost no oxygen and to remain motionless for hours, free of the, quote, illusion, end quote, of this life. The physical aspects of yoga, however, which attract many Westerners, were in fact originally developed and practiced for spiritual goals. In spite of the widely published fact that yoga comes from occult practices in such places as China, India, and Tibet, and was not designed to enhance health, but to achieve godhood, it is still popularly believed that one can engage in it strictly for health reasons and without any religious or spiritual involvement. John Patrick Sullivan, former NFL player and current yoga instructor in Santa Barbara, California, declares, quote, yoga has no religion. It's not about Hinduism or Buddhism, end quote. Such opinions, however, are contradicted by original practitioners of yoga and by all of the experts who know it best. Swiss psychiatrist C.G. Jung, who is heavily involved in the occult and not a Christian by any means, was one of the pioneers in bringing yoga to the West 85 years ago and remained devoted to it all of his life. He declared authoritatively and emphatically that the spiritual cannot be cut out of yoga. Quote, the numerous purely physical procedures of yoga unite the parts of the body with the whole of the mind and spirit, as in the pranayama exercises, where prana is both the breath and the universal dynamics of the cosmos. The elation of the body becomes one with the elation of the spirit. Yoga practice is unthinkable and would also be ineffectual without the ideas on which it is based. It works the physical and the spiritual into one another in an extraordinarily complete way, end quote. What Jung declared is stated no less explicitly by yogic sages in the East, where this system originated. Nevertheless, that fact is still widely denied by most yoga instructors in the West. Thus, the popularity and practice of this Eastern occult technique for uniting the spirit of man with the universal spirit, Hinduism's chief god, Brahman, continues to explode in the Western world, and it does so under the guise of being purely physical, in spite of overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The following is from a popular yoga website, which seeks to explain what yoga really is. Note the contradiction of, quote, scientific teaching based on Hindu philosophy, end quote, spirituality without religion, and the ecumenism of Hinduism, which has a universal spirit that is allegedly compatible with all religions. Quote, what is yoga? Yoga literally means union. It is the practical and scientific teaching, including a system of exercises for attaining bodily and mental control and well-being that aims at bringing about the union of the human spirit with the universal spirit. This yoga website continues, is yoga a religion? No, although yoga is an Indian tradition and more or less based on Hindu philosophy, it does not belong to any particular region or religion. Its practical and scientific techniques work effectively regardless of a person's belief. End quote.